Hello and welcome to another episode of Beyond the Black Rims. I'm Mars Girl.
I'm Josh Knight the First.
This is Season 3, Episode 9.
Or Episode 55, if you're counting.
I've been doing a really good job of actually remembering what episode number we're on.
You have.
Without even having to look at your notes.
No, I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
You know, now the notes are not as necessary, but we still need that safety net for you.
Yeah, I'm the one that needs the safety net more than you. I have to admit that. So I'm glad you guys are here. Again, I always want to thank you guys for coming out here. Of course, you can always watch this on YouTube, except for the one time you couldn't. But, but you
well,
guys...
we made up for it. We made up for it.
But you guys being here means a lot to us. And we like that after the show we do get the opportunity to talk to you guys and see what you guys find interesting. And elaborate on things that we otherwise would not talk about here on the show. So if you are watching this later on YouTube, we would really like for you guys to come out. Again, we're always here Thursday nights at 9 p.m. Central Time, and after the show we hang out with everybody for an additional half an hour.
Usually from about 10 to 10:30 Central Time. So if you guys can please make that time, come out here and be part of the fun.
Do we have any interesting personal news for the time being?
Well, I do. Normally, you guys might notice, you know, we do this podcast every week. We get a little parched in the throat, and normally you'll either see Kaylin drinking from her gallon of water or me having some form of either Arizona iced tea or Arizona fruit punch. Tonight, we're proud to say that the drinks we are using, Mountain Dew Baja Blast. This is not product placement. This is truth.
This is... we legitimately just like Baja Blast. Actually... this is our first time opening one of these bottles for ourselves. I'm about to taste it.
Yep.
Right now.
Me too. I'm enjoying you. This is going to be great.
Is this going to hold up to over-iced down Baja Blast from
Taco Bell? You go for it. Go ahead.
Okay. So much more potent without extra ice.
Oh, give it to me.
So much. Wow, it kind of stings even.
Oh, sweet nectar of the gods. Okay, so for you guys that don't know, we've been looking for the last 3 days straight for this drink in particular, because Mountain Dew Baja Blast is only available at your local Taco Bell. And people have been complaining, why can't I get this in bottle form? Why can't I get this in can form? Well, finally, Mountain Dew relented, and they've decided for, 2 weeks? Starting from May 5th on, to put out Baja Blast in your local, I guess it's a Walmart that you have to go to find it.
They were advertising Walmarts as being the primary location for early release for the Summer of Baja. So they actually have an item locator thing on Mountain Dew or Pepsi's website, and typed in my zip code, and for the first 2 days there was just nothing. Then last night it said there was one place, and it was a Target, and I was like, oh.
Well, that's weird.
That's weird. We went to the Target, wasn't there. I'm like, fine. Well, we're nearby this Walmart, let's just stop in Walmart. And we were about to walk out the door.
Yeah, we had checked that Walmart from top to bottom. Every last possible place you could hide it, nothing. So on the way out, we're looking at, the few soda refrigerators they have by the front.
And one refrigerator.
Just one.
One refrigerator had a few
bottles
of these bottles. And you just heard me go,
suck all the air out of a Walmart. That's what you did. And now we have our prize. And you know what? Some people might say, you know what, that's kind of lame. Why'd you go halfway across town to go looking for soda? You know what?
Make life interesting every so often.
Yeah.
Go on an epic adventure to Mordor when there is no Mordor in your life. I mean, come on.
And like some of you are saying here in the chat, actually, I've tried weaning myself off soda, for health purposes, but this is my cheat soda. When the time comes for me to get some, I get Baja Blast. So if you guys have a chance, use that app. Check your local Walmart, or I think they said some convenience stores are carrying it. Mm-hmm. It's out there. Taste it for yourself. You tell me whether or not you like it. I just know I'm happy.
I like it a lot better without, because we actually got Baja Blast from Taco Bell earlier that very night, and they filled that cup up with ice.
Would you like some soda with your ice? I hate it when they do that.
So much better without the ice. So much better. Anyway,
now, with that product placement aside, we've got stories for you guys tonight.
Oh, actually, yeah, what does it taste like, Baja Blast?
If I had to describe it based off Tumblr's description, it's if you took regular Mountain Dew and added the blue Powerade to it. If you can blend those two together and kind of imagine that in your head or mouth or wherever you imagine taste, that's what it tastes like.
If you don't like caffeinated drinks, as some people are saying, go to Taco Bell anyway and get their Baja Blast Freeze. You might like it just for that flavor alone.
Right.
Like, the Freeze is okay to me. I don't know.
It
is the same flavor.
It doesn't beat the soda, though. Not in my
personal
book.
Opinion. So anyway, yeah, we should talk about what stories we're talking about, and I know we only just barely tweeted the stories before we got started, but we just learned that Nintendo plans on releasing entirely new consoles in different regions of the world. We're not talking 3DSs or Nintendo Wii U's, we're talking whole new consoles that we might not even see in the States or in Japan or UK, Europe. More information on that a little later in the show.
Second thing we're going to talk about is that you heard us talking earlier about the Fox series Gotham. Well, now we can confirm Gotham has been officially picked up by Fox for a full first season, and we have a trailer that has just now come out to showcase some of these characters, the look of the series, and we'll talk a bit more about that and characters they have that are going to show up this season.
And then finally, yeah, we're all ready for this one.
You guys better be ready.
Power Rangers is going to have a third official movie in theaters produced by Lionsgate.
In conjunction with Saban. That's all you need to know for right now. I hope we have enough time to get to that story.
I almost say let's tackle just what we need to in these first two stories, because you can go on on about...
Yes.
And might I remind you before we move on that it's probably Mighty Morphin. Okay?
Yeah, we want to make sure we get that across.
Alright, so, that having been said, are there any follow-up stories that we can elaborate on for the time being?
Well, I hate the fact that for the last couple of weeks running, we've had to do sort of final thoughts on actors that have left us. One in particular, this past week, we lost great actor Ephraim Zimbalist Jr., who was a notable actor, had many years on stage and screen, but most importantly to most fans watching tonight, he was both the voice of Dr. Otto Octavius, Doc Ock, on Spider-Man the Animated Series, but larger than that, he was, for a lot of people, the voice of Alfred on Batman the Animated Series.
So that same kind of time block in afternoon cartoons growing up in the 90s.
Yes, and initially he didn't have the role. For the first, I think, 2 episodes, there was another actor who had the role just kind of as a fill-in, and then...
of Alfred?
Of Alfred, yes. And then later on, he auditioned for the role, and he just took to it like it was perfect. He fit the role to a T, and now...
Like, I feel like most of the voice actors and actresses that were featured within Batman the Animated Series, to me, those people are those characters as far as their voices are concerned. I know a lot of people will latch on to, say, Heath Ledger as the Joker, but I'm always going to lean toward Mark Hamill. Like, I just feel like he's the best Joker, whether he's animated or not. And this characterization of Alfred was just calm enough and like, Bruce, I'm not going to take any of your crap.
No, I loved that about his portrayal, because you definitely got across the fatherly aspect of his character, especially certain scenes in Batman Mask of the Phantasm, when he's talking to Bruce about, Phantasm being, off in her own crusade. There's no way you could have brought her back. There's such warmth there. Yeah. But at the same time...
Again, I think that's the best Batman movie, period, animated or not. I just hold so much weight on
and then
that animated
at the same time, there's that scene earlier when, Bruce, as Batman, is arguing with him, "You think you know everything about me, don't you?" And he tells him back, "Well, I diapered your bottom, I bloody well ought to." He's able to tell him, "No, you're being an idiot, stop." It takes somebody to know when to tell the guy who pays your paycheck, who's dressed up in tights and a bat mask, "Hey, you're being stupid."
Yeah.
But he sold you on it.
Oh, yeah.
And just in general, that characterization, like you were saying, they could show him just being, he's the butler. He follows Batman around town. But at the same time, there were 1 or 2 episodes. I think it was The Lion and the Unicorn was the one in particular when they touched on his sort of spy past. And they only needed to touch on it so much to prove, hey, Alfred's worth his own salt. He could hold himself in a fight for a little bit if he wanted to. Not like nowadays where you have to emphasize, oh, Alfred's ex-military, he's hardcore. No, this man will buttle the pants off you and you will enjoy it and ask for more.
Buttle the pants
yes,
off
he will buttle the pants off you. Press
Someone
them.
put that on a t-shirt. I will buttle the pants off of you.
I want to say that was a meme too on some image board that with a picture of him as Alfred. But yeah, unfortunately he lived to the age of 95. I wish they would
That's a good full long life.
Yeah.
I mean, how can you really argue like
I would like to get to 95.
If it's your time to go at that point, it's your time to go, and thank you for the years and thank you for the entertainment. Like, how can you ask for anything more?
Of course. So, if you guys have the chance, the DVDs are available. Please go get a copy of Batman the Animated Series.
Batman Mask of the Phantasm.
And Batman Mask of the Phantasm. So,
I can't even stress that enough.
Rest in peace, Mr. Zimbalist Jr. But we move on. In an odd bit of a... We're having to do multiple tie-ins here, or tie-backs to stories we've done earlier. So, we talked about Terminator Genesis and all the casting that was involved there, and they're having to add on all these new roles and recast old roles.
Right.
Well, they've added another actor to the roster for Terminator. And
I almost thought you said Tomb Raider there for a second.
No, I was making an Arnold joke. It was going to be Tomb Raider.
Tomb Raider?
It's not a Tomb Raider. But no, Terminator Genesis has added Doctor Who's Matt Smith.
Now I just want to see Matt Smith as Lara Croft. Because you said... Because it still sounded like Tomb Raider.
Now it exists.
Now it exists.
Now you get to play...
DeviantArt it. Well, maybe DeviantArt it in a week.
In a week, yeah, give it some time. But yes, now Doctor Who's Matt Smith has joined the cast in an unspecified role, but it does say that he is very... closely tied to John Connor in some way, shape, or form.
As if there isn't likely already fan art out there of the Doctor meeting up with the Terminator because, you know, time travel. Surely that's out there. I can't have just made that up.
Like, that, as soon as I heard this, I automatically thought, okay, how long until I hear a time travel joke? How long?
How long until the fan fiction, like, the fan fiction already exists, right? Like,
I'm pretty sure. The Manips came about an hour later.
All I'm saying is, can we look at him as an actor for a second and not as Doctor Who?
I mean,
just for a second. Like, I'm not saying that you don't look at him and go, oh, that's nice. I recognize him because he was Doctor Who. Okay, that's cool, but don't go in there like... You were that jerk who went into
Fright Night
with a stupid freaking Sonic screwdriver
because David Tennant was in there. I admit to being that guy.
Okay, I don't want to see that in the theater for
but
freaking
you know,
Terminator.
I won't do
I
it
don't want to see that.
I won't do it for this, but you know someone else will. And that's the sad part. Because I'll say this much. I may have done that, but at the same time, I highly respect David Tennant as a classically trained Shakespearean actor, and people are now going to find out about him with the American adaptation of Broadchurch Grace Point that's going to come out on Fox. People will see what a great actor he is, and you know, Karen Gillan's having to branch out over here. This is Matt Smith's chance to branch out over here, aside from Doctor Who. So yeah, I want to see him as an actor, because I'll say this much, specifically for me in last season's episode, The Rings of Akatan, when he's giving that speech to that giant angry sun, you can see... No, as an actor, you can see him drawing on this pain and this hurt to convey really kind of some insane things that he's saying, like no regular person would say these things, but you feel the hurt in his voice. You feel that he's trying to protect people. And as an actor, you want to be able to play that same emotion in any role you take.
Okay.
So yeah,
I'm sorry, Doctor Who talk, I get lost.
I'm not talking about him as Doctor Who. I'm talking about as an actor.
Oh, okay.
I see his potential as an actor there. But, you know, we'll have more to talk about once we find out who he's playing.
Right.
And then the last thing we'll talk about, and we'll talk about this very briefly, we'll probably talk about it more in the after show, is that we did, in fact, get to watch Amazing Spider-Man 2 this past weekend.
I have to confess, I'm really kind of shocked at how much a lot of people did not like this movie. I'm legitimately confused at it. I feel like in a lot of media, I find that I am completely backward from most of our general populace.
Right,
you know?
right.
And I guess I just don't really understand, because I feel like this movie was played far more comic accurate than any of the previous Spider-Man
Well, yeah, even
movies.
with the exceptions they've taken to the story and to certain characters and their arcs, it felt like a full comic book movie. Like, I had some people complaining to me that this movie didn't know what it was. It was an action movie one second, and it was a romance movie the next second.
Comics do that.
Yeah, that's what a comic is. It jumps between all these genres. It's not tied into one specific thing.
And people are arguing, calling it, giving it the excuse, oh, it's a comic book movie, isn't a good enough excuse. I don't know what people are expecting, because there's also people who expected a certain amount of realism out of it, and I'm going, how real did you want it to be? The entire time you knew you were going into a movie
about a
dude who got bitten by a radioactive spider, who then should have died from leukemia, but he didn't. He got spider powers.
And then he has to fight a living bolt of lightning. Like, how much realism did you want? The realism that we want should come from the emotions, and people are saying, yeah, well, it was too mushy and things like that. And you know what? I bought it. I'll say that I bought it. And yes, I'm not going to say that this is a perfect film by any means. It's still got problems just like anything else.
I was way more entertained by it than I thought I was going to be, and I'm only so much of a comic book fan myself. I read a little bit here and there when I get the chance. I don't know. I was legitimately entertained. I actually liked that the trailer was slightly inaccurate. In fact, like half of that trailer...
It's artful misdirection is what it is, because I went in based off the way they cut the trailers to think, oh, it's going to be a certain thing. And really, I think that's what happened with most audience members, is that they thought, oh, I've seen the trailer, I know how this movie's going to go already.
Really? You didn't?
No, because it's completely out of order from what you think you've picked up from the trailer, and that, for me...
Some shots were filmed and put in that trailer that didn't end up in the movie at all, or they were shot completely differently to throw you off the scent, you know?
Right.
And you know what? I guess I kind of liked that. I can't think of anything I outright disliked other than the fact that I don't really like dubstep as an art form, but I suppose in the context of using it with a dude who's made out of electricity, I guess that makes sense to use it in conjunction with
the
him,
only thing I'll give away, and I don't think it's that huge of a spoiler, and we'll just say this to move on with the show, is that when Electro's fighting Spider-Man there at the power plant, and he basically turns all of the towers there into Tesla coils so that he can play Itsy Bitsy Spider on them.
That was a little dumb.
That was a little cheap.
As far as just kind of throwing Rhino out there, I think a lot of people maybe didn't catch the news that there's a ton of teaser for this Sinister Six movie that's supposed to come out.
Because they've already confirmed...
I'm convinced that this Rhino stuff's going to carry over into that movie.
Oh, absolutely, because they've confirmed they're going to move forward with a Sinister Six movie. We just need casting for the other members that haven't shown up yet. So maybe just people didn't really know yet. But that having been said, we'll probably talk more about that in the
That's
post-show.
about all I really want to say, and I don't want to give away plot, but I do want to say that while a bunch of other people are sitting there not understanding what the movie was, we legitimately enjoyed it. It was just fun for us.
I thought it was great.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I don't know if I enjoyed it better than Captain America 2 Winter Soldier, but it was close.
Pretty close, I'd say.
Yeah, pretty close, in personal opinion. Alright, I guess that having been said, we can move on to our headlining news stories. So explain to me this information about Nintendo. As far as I'm understanding it, they want to go into different markets, for example, China, to release brand new video game consoles in those countries?
Okay, well, the way it works now is, as of, I think at least last week, Nintendo said they were not going to debut anything at E3 this year. They're like, you know what, we don't have anything to show. But then this news breaks, which is basically that. Nintendo is looking to develop new consoles. You hear that? You go, great. Something new from Nintendo besides what we've already got with the 3DS XL or the Wii U. Hey, I'm up for it. You know, we're up for innovation. But we end up finding out that these consoles that they're looking to develop are for emerging markets in other parts of the world, which basically means different parts of the world that don't necessarily have gaming consoles like we do.
Looks like this news story is saying that specifically Bloomberg said that China had a 13-year ban on video game home consoles, and I guess they just barely lifted this ban.
Right.
And so Nintendo's like, yeah, let's get into that market right away.
Well, because it's the smart thing to do. If you're going to do business, you do business with China. They hold most of our debt.
Right.
So why not try and get some of that money back by selling them Mario? That just makes sense to me.
Well, here's the question. Okay, are they going to get... One, are they going to get a whole bunch of our games? Two, will China start producing video games that we can get? And then here's another question, like, will we be able to get those games? Because will they be exclusive to these consoles that are only being made for people in China?
Well, let's look at a bigger picture here. First and foremost, we have to look at Nintendo as just a business, a company.
Right.
Nintendo is reporting a huge loss because this whole Year of Luigi thing didn't pan out.
Apparently, Luigi, you had one job.
329 million loss reported.
Ah, that's so awful, but I love Luigi.
The budget of the budget for Avatar from James Cameron loss from Nintendo because Ouija couldn't do his job.
Well, at least Nintendo's got that kind of money to lose.
Well, yeah, but even then, you can't just walk away from that like, yeah, we lost 329 million, whatever. No, somebody gets fired over stuff like that. Changes have to be made. But now you see, there's an opportunity here with China to develop consoles for them. And Iwata, the president of Nintendo, said, we want to make new things rather than a cheaper version of what we have. Which tells me they want to develop something from the ground up, not just a cheaper, streamlined, like a thin version of a Wii U.
Right.
So, like you said, what's to say there, what they're going to make? I don't know necessarily whether or not the best thing they should do is just do something like that, take the Wii U and just take a couple of features off, add a couple of features, and boom, there you go. That's the cheap buck. I don't think they're necessarily going to do that. What they really need to do is look at how they're gaming over there in China as a whole and adapt.
How are they gaming? Because they don't have consoles. I'd imagine they're doing perhaps mobile gaming.
Right.
Some PC gaming.
Well, see, that's a problem for Nintendo as it is right there because, like you just brought up, one, we can't base it off anything. We have to base it off other markets around them, like Taiwan, Hong Kong, Japan.
I mean, it's funny because China somehow manages to produce all kinds of bootleg handheld consoles all the time. All the time.
And the thing, too, is because there's no console gaming over there, China still has big market in cell phones, mobile gaming. So Nintendo's already suffering from losses due to mobile gaming over here. Now they're having to deal with a place where that's already, I guess you'd call it dominant, because there just is no console market. So what are they going to have to do to beat out, whatever's on your iPhone?
Well,
what do they need?
At least you know that they don't have to worry about, at least not yet anyway, they're not worried about competition from Sony or Microsoft, because neither one of them is even talking about this right now.
Not necessarily. Microsoft did say that in September they will offer the Xbox One over there.
No kidding.
So they're going to have to move, and they need to move swiftly.
But I just wonder if that's not taking more resources out of Nintendo than they should really... Like, shouldn't they be focusing on, man, we sure did lose a lot of money in our major markets. Maybe we should think about focusing on our major markets for a second here and fixing that.
Well, see, it's the whole thing of diversion. If plan A isn't working, you work on plan F over here in the corner, and then see if you can develop plan F to fix plan A. That's how I see it.
Well, if you say so.
Now, thinking about, mobile gaming over there, really what they should have pushed initially is getting the 3DS XL over there and push Monster Hunter.
You think they would really take to Monster Hunter?
I would think so.
Yeah?
Why wouldn't they? People still love battling monsters. People are still playing Monster Hunter over here, the current version. People are still meeting up at game stores or bars too to play Monster Hunter. I think that's an easy in for them if they wanted to do that. Go with mobile.
They didn't happen to mention any other countries they were considering going
really,
to.
This is the major market, the major
China.
emerging market that they're talking about, yes.
Is China.
Right.
I mean, I'm just wondering, if they make an entirely new console, I would really be interested in seeing, like, third-party games made by other people in China. I really haven't had a need to import a lot of consoles. The only console I've imported, I guess my Wonder Swan Color. Like, there is no Wonder Swan over here in the States. No Wonder Swan and no Wonder Swan Color. So it had this big old library of games that there's, like, no choice. We have no opportunity to play those games over here. So I'm wondering if there's, like, this whole unique library of import games that we could end up...
Well, because a big question that we have to look at, because, yes, we're talking about a system that we have no idea about yet, is the question of development.
Mm-hmm.
Because developing for, say, the Wii, it was kind of hard because of all the limitations of the Wii. So Nintendo should be able to reflect on that. Whatever they develop, they can't develop a system that can't be developed for.
Right.
Because you want people to bring your games to your system and help you make the quick buck.
So, is it kind of like... Let's just take, for example, I'm gonna go narrow here and then broaden it for a second.
Okay.
Take, for example, Sentai and Kamen Rider games, right?
Right.
For some reason, they always tend to produce games for consoles of the previous generation. Like, right now, we're on Wii U, PS4, and Xbox One. But they'll keep releasing games instead for, like, the PS3. And as far as handheld consoles are concerned, they really don't... Do they have a 3DS game out yet?
Yeah, Kamen Rider Traveler Senki that they came out with a couple of months ago.
Yeah, and that's new. I mean, 3DS has been around for a while.
Right.
So they always go with older, easier to program for kind of consoles. Real super basic programming, it seems.
It would seem, yes.
So do you give another market that has not been doing home console stuff for years and years and years, do you give them older hardware and software to program on to kind of get them up to speed, or do you just throw the whole thing at them like, go crazy, guys?
Well, really the way it's looking is go crazy, guys, because from my perspective, the smart thing to do would be to do just that. Give them older consoles and let them figure out where their feet are.
Uh-huh.
Get a good foundation underneath them. But here what they're saying is we want to develop a new system from the ground up that's still cheap to produce, but still is widely sought after. So,
but give them perhaps hardware that already exists in this new console that's easy to use, easy to create games on.
Well, see, the thing I'm wondering about in all of this is, what are we talking about all the time here? Money.
Uh-huh.
It boils down to money. Pricewaterhouse is speculating that within 1 year, with everybody jumping in on this, both Nintendo and Microsoft, China's game market is looking to develop up to 10 billion in sales revenue.
Good lord.
10 billion with a B. That big numbers.
10 big illion.
Yes, 10 big illion. Nintendo's going to want that money, so what I'm worried about is that they're going to rush development. And rushing development, I think, is what kind of got them into hot water in the first place. If you don't take your time and feel things out.
Right.
Or at the same time get developers who are talented enough to be able to develop quickly what you need for this market.
Mm-hmm.
Because really, it's the KISS mindset, KISS, keep it simple, stupid.
Yeah.
That's what they need to do with this system. They want to be able to sell to. Well, really, that's the thing to think about too. Is where is their target demographic? Is it the same as over here? Like, oh, we're Nintendo, we're a family corporation. We want to make games for families, or do we want to focus in solely on the gamer,
hardcore audience,
12 to 30, male female demographic, that either have expendable income or still live with their parents who have some expendable income.
Right. The difference between casual gamers and hardcore gamers.
Right. Exactly. That's going to be very important for them in the development of this system.
Because let's not kid ourselves. Despite the fact that there's not a console market yet in China, China has its fair share of hardcore gamers, but they're mostly PC.
Right.
Mostly PC. I think what Nintendo should do is realize that their market of gamers is really comfortable with PC gaming.
Right.
So, whatever they create should feel comfortable to a PC gamer. And that will be the first time that Nintendo has really had to think about doing that. Because the whole time they've gone for gimmicks, they've gone for things that people have been comfortable with for the last 30 some odd years.
And they haven't really pushed themselves, though.
Especially.
I wonder if this will force them to finally push themselves to keep up with what a gamer is nowadays, as opposed to what they say a gamer is.
Yeah.
Because
I don't ever want Nintendo's kind of gamer to go away, but
at the same time...
But the market changes, and if Nintendo's just standing there going, nope, I'm not budging, then they're gonna eventually lose.
Like, I'll put it this way. We walked around Walmart earlier, and we saw a advertisement for now, that's what I call music, Volume 50.
I can't believe they're up to Volume 50.
I bring that up for a reason. When you get to Volume 50, you start to... Well, really, once you get to around Volume 23, you start thinking, why is this still around? Let it die. And really, if all that you're doing to get by is sequel after sequel after sequel after sequel of the one thing, you obviously know... Oh, this is a weak company. You may have money, but you don't innovate. You just keep putting out the same thing over and over again. That's not to say that doesn't make money, but it also shows that people can get you for what you don't have, which is originality. Because they'll keep putting out Smash Brothers until we're blue in the face. They're still going to put out Mario parties. They're still going to put out Zelda games. And you can only give Zelda so many mechanics before you run out. They've got to come up with something new here. And I think maybe that's a good way to look at it.
So this could be a good opportunity for them to be innovative.
Right, exactly. I hope this pushes Nintendo to better heights. Maybe if they see it's doing well over there, then they might just bring it over to us.
Well, let's see. I mean, I would still be interested in importing whatever it is they create for China, just for the sake of saying, oh, this is unique and cool. If they see that there is a foreign market that wants the other foreign market's thing, who knows? Who even knows?
I know. The only thing I'm looking at here is that they said consoles plural. They're looking to do more than one. So I'm guessing
home and
probably some form
mobile,
of mobile
or handheld. I mean,
yeah, handheld. Yes. So we'll keep you guys posted on that. As soon as we hear anything else, you better believe we'll tell you.
Heck yeah.
Okay. So second story. You guys heard us talking, of course, about Fox's pilot that they shot for this new series Gotham, which is supposed to chronicle the early days of Gotham City and why it eventually needed the Batman. Well,
it seems to largely follow young Gordon, who's not yet commissioner.
I think he's just like detective here.
I think he's just Detective Gordon.
And now we can say that for certain, Fox has agreed to go ahead and take this pilot and order a full series. So we'll have at least a full first season out of the show. And based off just popularity of the Batman name alone, it will get the views it needs. Just on that alone, because people buy comic book stuff now.
Oh, yeah.
It's not a weird thing.
Now it's the popular thing, even if you don't read comic books. I think people are legitimately interested in these stories, and for the most part, know the names of a lot of these characters. Like, it's become culturally relevant.
Yes, very much so. Since this is the 75th anniversary of Batman as part of the culture, people know Batman. People at least know, oh, I've heard of Commissioner Gordon. Oh, I know who Catwoman is. Well, now they're going to try and tell the origin story of where these characters came from.
Mm-hmm.
And we have a trailer that has just debuted. You can watch it on any number of news sites or YouTube. And we have our first look at what the series is going to look and feel like. For
Dark
me,
and gritty.
Yeah, dark
That's
and gritty
for sure.
from the get-go. And it's kind of like, well, no duh, what'd you expect?
Yeah,
But-
because Gotham needs heroes.
Right, Gotham needs heroes. Gotham has to look like it's gonna need a guy in a cape and pointy ears to save it. The problem I see with it, not that I don't want this to succeed, I do, I really do want this to succeed. The only problem I'm having with it is I'm not entirely positive on the tone, because whereas, yeah, it kind of makes sense. This is a dark city. There's going to be crime. There's going to be murder. Obviously, there has to be at least 2 murders for this series to take off.
Uh-huh.
But the trailer itself almost seems like it's trying a little too hard to match the dark and gritty that people have come to expect.
Well, I'm a little confused because, like, you brought this up with me before, too, in that, all the characters who will later become Catwoman, will later become Penguin, they sort of look like they already are those characters, except without their costumes that will, or the one trigger thing that will make them them.
Yeah, that's
Like,
kind of what I'm talking about. Like, if you're going to show us this journey of not just Bruce Wayne or not just James Gordon, and also these villains, if you need to show us this journey, it needs to be well thought out far in advance. You can't just sit on this one concept. I would argue kind of like what Smallville did, where you sit on this concept of, all right, you see this guy, Clark Kent? He's going to be Superman one day. But you sit on him not really growing as a character all that much, and argue with me if you want, but he was so close to being Superman around season 4 or so, and then by the time you get to season 8, it's like, oh, for God's sake, let him put on the cape already! There's no point!
Well,
Like, he's wearing blue and red like there's no tomorrow. He's got the basic diamond symbol on his chest. He's got an 8 on there where you know there's supposed to be an S. Just let him be Superman already.
I'm really kind of wondering if eventually, let's say a few seasons down the road, there's going to be a time jump. And then suddenly we're going to see an older Bruce Wayne who's about ready to go disappear off into the middle of nowhere and go train to be a Batman.
Yeah,
And-
exactly. But it's the thing about it. You look at this trailer and they say before there was Penguin, and they show the guy playing Penguin. Before there was Riddler, you see Penguin. I mean, not Penguin. You see
Hey, before there was Riddler,
You
there
see
was
Penguin.
Penguin. Not the Penguin, though.
Right. But before you see that, you see a younger Riddler, or Edward Nygma, I should say. Before there was Catwoman, they show other Catwoman. They kind of already have, like you said, the look of who they're supposed to be. They just haven't had a thing happen yet. So for Penguin, from the way the trailer looks, he hasn't gained weight yet, or influence. For Riddler, oh, he hasn't put on green tights yet. Oh, for Catwoman, she hasn't hit puberty yet. You know, it's just those little things, and if that's all that we're waiting on for them to become these characters, that already sounds kind of cheap.
Yeah, because they already look like they are just those characters. They're just the alternate universe, slightly younger versions of them.
Right, exactly. And I think we covered this when we first covered the story. There might be a necessity for a time jump, because are we really going to sit here for however many years it takes for 8-year-old Bruce to become 30-year-old Batman? Or
I
or
highly
pushing
doubt that the
27,
series will last
28-year-old Batman? Yeah, series won't last,
Yeah, it won't last
that
that
long, you know, unless you're like, what, MASH? Or All in the Family?
MASH
Long Run-
didn't last 20 years.
I know. I'm just saying, you know, you could stretch it out. That's not saying it would be best for storytelling.
Yeah, Simpsons.
Fox.
Fox.
And this is on Fox.
Oh no!
Did you think about that?
No!
This is on Fox. They will
I'm
milk this thing
stupid.
for all that
I'm
it's
so
worth.
stupid.
This thing will get debuted probably early on in the week, sometime between Sunday and Wednesday, you know, their prime time where they show their best shows. We all know the telltale signs. We've been there. You guys remember Firefly. As soon as this thing hits Friday night, it's dead. You guys know this. But I don't think Fox wants to go that route, especially here when they know they've already got a hit based off franchise name alone.
Mm-hmm.
So, they, like I said, they've got a lot of ground to cover. But the thing is, you have to find your pacing. You can't cover it too quick, but you can't cover it too slow.
Right.
If you cover it too quick, you won't have that much story left to tell. If you cover it too slow, you become Smallville.
That's true.
So you have to find that happy medium that'll let you know, hey, this is what we need from this series. Let's pace it out right. Let's build the lore up the way it needs to be. And maybe, if it's necessary or if it fits, let it tie into their movie universe. Like, if they want, maybe this could be a prequel to Man of Steel's universe if they want.
I don't know.
Mind you, that nobody said anything. That's just me talking. Nobody's actually confirmed that. I'm just saying they have that option currently until they say otherwise.
Mm-hmm.
But for the time being, the trailer's out there. You guys can go watch it. This is coming.
It doesn't look awful.
It doesn't look awful.
Say that. I don't think it looks awful.
I'll say this much. Donald Love as Harvey Dent doesn't look too bad. Admittedly, he's older than Gordon here, but you know, that's not too much. He's still kind of got the same feel to him.
Yeah, that doesn't
dark,
bother
gritty
me.
cop.
That's really
all I'm saying is, grow a mustache, Jim. We need you in a mustache.
I guess he doesn't get to be the commissioner until we give him a mustache. Just like Riker didn't become cool until he puffed out a beard. Like,
yeah, pretty much. Like, Riker isn't Riker until he gets a beard. Gordon isn't Gordon until he gets a mustache and glasses. At least one or the other. Give him glasses or give him a mustache. He's just got to have something.
Uh-huh.
Something that looks more similar to his comic counterpart.
Right. So, I guess that's that for now.
That's that for now.
Because we need to give you some time to go off for
do
a
we
little
need
bit.
time?
We've had 20 years of time.
We've had 20 years of time.
We've had 20... Oh my god.
Okay, guys. I hope you're ready. Here we go. So...
Keep going.
20 years ago, I'm there sitting on my couch. End of summer, 1993, with my brother, Saturday morning. And we're there, watching with wide eyes. Something we've never seen before. There are these 5 people on TV dressed in spandex, driving around in these giant robots, battling these weird gibberish-talking guys and this really old lady. And it blew our minds! Of course, you guys know what I'm talking about. It was the debut of...
Beetleborgs.
Well, I was going to say Walker, Texas Ranger.
Oh.
You know, kind of keeping with the Ranger joke, but good job. But no, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers debuted all those years ago, and 2 years later, they put out Mighty Morphin Power Rangers the movie, which was their first attempt at a movie, which was out of sync with the show's continuity. And then a couple of years later...
Interesting attempt, I might say, considering everything up until that point was borrowed footage from a completely different country. That movie was like all us.
No. In my mind, when I think Power Rangers, like, yes, of course, you know, what we're talking about there is, you know, borrowed Z-Ranger footage, spliced Die Ranger footage, and so on with American actors. That's Power Rangers. But at the same time, like she just said, when you think about the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers movie, they weren't using the same suits. They weren't using stock footage. They created their own villain, really with kind of the base idea of what the suits were and borrowing the design of what would be the Ninja Megazord from Kaku Danger.
Just imagery was borrowed, but not a story.
That's the closest we have to our own project over here in America. Like, that's Power Rangers. The Titanium Ranger from Lightspeed Rescue, that's Power Rangers. That's ours. The Spirit Rangers from Power Rangers Jungle Fury, those are ours. That's
Zed's ours?
Zed is ours, yes, of course. And
at a certain point, Rita becomes ours,
sort of, yeah, because we ran out of stock footage.
Because we had to get our own actress for her.
But yeah, we haven't had a movie for Power Rangers since Turbo, a Power Rangers movie all those years ago. And now currently you've heard us talking time and time again about this anniversary year and Power Rangers Super Mega Force. And you think back to the last couple of years since Saban got the rights back with Samurai, Super Samurai, Mega Force, and now Super Mega Force. And even going back to when it was still showing on ABC, re-airing Mighty Morphin with all those weird 1966 Adam West Batman edits to the story and adding all these weird lighting things and comic
Saban decided, like, oh, we got our license back? I guess we need to treat everything, like, we need to make everybody remember what made us so great, and it was Mighty Morphin. Like, they didn't try and innovate, okay, with Megaforce, and specifically with Super Megaforce. It's like they went back to the Mighty Morphin formula. Like, you go back and you watch Megaforce's first episode, and they, like, completely lifted episode 1 of Mighty Morphin
Day
Power
of the
Rangers,
Dumpster.
Day of the Dumpster, and it's the exact same thing. It's the exact same kind of lazy editing where they're like, oh no, we better avoid seeing faces of Japanese people or else the kids might know that this came from Asian footage. Like, really, really lazy stuff, but it's what Saban was good at in 1993. So...
You know, so that's what they look for. And it's this whole idea of, you say you're growing the brand, but really all you do is holding on to this one spot in time so hard that you can't let go, and then it kind of starts to seep into other areas and make them not as good.
I think it's really interesting that a lot of these press releases that have been coming out over the past 24 hours, like, not once do they cite, oh, Saban went and got this footage from Toei, blah, blah, blah. Like, I'm not saying linger on that information for a long time, but they...
Give credit where credit is due, though.
Yeah, like, he found this footage, he thought it was amazing, and he thought he could make something out of it, and he did. And that's a cool story, if you ask me, because I mean, I really wasn't going for this when I initially thought this sentence in my head, but we morphed it into something that was ours, despite the fact that it came from someplace else.
Right.
We have our own stories. I mean, a couple of seasons were, like, directly lifted from their Japanese source material, but aside from that, there is something to be said about there being a difference between Super Sentai and Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. But at the same time, you respect how you got there.
Right, exactly. You don't just necessarily sweep it under the rug, but by that same token, you go to comic shops, you go to Hot Topic, you go wherever, you don't see Super Megaforce stuff necessarily being sold there. Mm-hmm. That you go to Toys R Us for. You go to Hot Topic, you go to comic shops, you see Mighty Morphin stuff.
Yeah,
You see, the Dragon Zord on his shirt. You see, the 5 original Rangers on his shirt. And Free Comic Book Day, they were giving away a Mighty Morphin Power Rangers comic book since they've started that up again.
I guess there is something in saying that, yes, Mighty Morphin is the series that stuck with everybody.
Right, because that was the one. In 1994, it was the most sought-after item for Christmas. Just Power Rangers anything.
Oh, yeah.
Megazords, action figures, you name it.
Oh, I had activity books all over the place.
Oh, please, I had it all. I almost brought my collection of DVDs just to prove to you guys
you just
what was
bought
up.
DVDs. Why did you not?
Well, yeah, I left it in the car. I just picked up Volume 1 of Power Rangers Turbo like an hour ago before we started filming this. But point being, Mighty Morphin is what they hold on to, and now Saban has announced that along with Lionsgate Pictures, they will basically, what they're saying is adapt Mighty Morphin into a movie again. Now, understand what I'm saying here. When we talk about Mighty Morphin Power Rangers the movie, 1995, that was its own thing, that was a spin-off, and you kind of went into it knowing more or less what the series was. Even the opening crawl tells you all you need to know to set you up. Mm-hmm. 6 teenagers with attitude, fighting evil monsters, transform into heroes, ride around in Zords. Basically what this is they're looking to, and I'll quote here from the press release, the new film franchise will re-envision the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, a group of high school kids who are infused with unique and cool superpowers, but must harness and use those powers as a team if they have any hope of saving the world.
Wait, what's that about franchise?
The new franchise.
Are they doing more than one movie?
That's what it sounds like. After you've read enough press releases, you understand wording. Franchise Meaning, yes, they're hoping for more than one.
I don't know about that.
No,
I
see,
really don't
what
know
I'm worried
that.
about the most is that, one, the question we ask of any remake, is this necessary? Do we need this?
I feel like Mighty Morphin had its shot. I feel like quoting Jurassic Park here and quoting Ian Malcolm.
Go for it.
Dinosaurs had their shot, and nature selected them for extinction. Okay, I'm done.
But you don't even realize what you had. You stood on the backs of other people, and you didn't realize what you had, and then before you knew it, you've
patented it and packaged it and slapped it on a plastic lunchbox, and now you're selling. You are selling. Well,
there it is. That sums it up perfectly. It's scary how much that sums it up, because basically this is what some fans have been asking for, that I've been worried about, like, oh, I hope they don't listen to them, is that this is looking to be potentially the dark, gritty remake of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
Like, Saban sitting over here like Lionsgate is the perfect home for elevating our Power Rangers brand to the next level, blah, blah, blah. They've launched breakthrough hits from The Hunger Games to Twilight to Divergent. Listen to those titles. Those are like, oh my god, shaky cam, tweens like stabbing each other in the neck. Oh my god, there's explosions and there's all this blood. And oh my god.
And you think about it, if you think about the audience for Power Rangers, it's the same over there for Super Sentai as it is over here. It's aimed at young boys ages 4 through 10, maybe 12, but that's pushing it in the rare cases, myself included. And what they're looking to do, basically, yeah, by listing those off, Hunger Games, Twilight, Divergent, no, those are like tweeny girl novels. I mean, yeah, the Hunger Games is a little more popular for both genders, but you look at what they're trying to sell here, you can already get a feeling that this doesn't have too many good omens on it already. And yeah, of course...
Oh, it's gonna make bank, though.
Yeah.
I don't think
will it? We don't know yet.
Well, Lionsgate...
I really can't say.
I don't know.
Because here's the thing, and yeah, everybody's waiting for us to bring it up. I'll go ahead and bring it up now. So, you guys remember Day of the Dumpster? There were 5 Rangers, right? Eventually, they added a 6th Ranger. Although, nobody has told that 6th Ranger he stopped being a Ranger a couple of years ago. And we'll get right to it.
Well, he's going to still be a Ranger when it finally comes down to final epic episode when he shows up
on Super Megaforce.
Super Megaforce.
Okay, so... You guys remember us covering for Super Megaforce when we announced that Jason David Frank was lobbying very hard to Saban to make him a part of Super Megaforce as a throwback. Thankfully, as far as Gokaiger footage is concerned, there was room for that because there was stock footage of the Dragon Ranger, you know, who we know as the Green Ranger, there in the footage, so it would make sense for him to come back.
Right.
Now, as soon as the news broke yesterday morning that this movie was licensed, he was on Facebook like that.
Like that.
That's it. And he lobbied just like he did for Super Megaforce.
This isn't new for him.
He's done this already, and he did it again yesterday. He lobbied to his fans, trying to muster his fan army together. Hey guys, here's the emails, here's the addresses, here's the phone numbers that you guys need to call.
Posted people's phone numbers on the internet. Call these people over at Lionsgate and put me in their movie. Who does that? Now, granted, he's since deleted, like, if it was just that one Facebook post, he's deleted it.
I forget, it looked like 3 posts to me yesterday. However, that is to say, as of today, all evidence of him having done that doesn't exist on his fan page anymore.
I mean, he's still out there going, yeah, the fans want me in the movie, alright. But he's, the evidence of that on his Facebook page is gone. However, if you go to, like, rangerboard.com,
yes,
or even, hell, 4chan's M.
Yeah,
even talked
the mecha
about
section.
It for a bit. You can still see, like, for example, the Ranger board, the title of that particular forum thread was something to the effect of, is JDF the new Adam West? Like,
yeah,
just showing up in things. not able to forget that he was this one thing this one time. I'm sitting here going, hey, you get this nice mixed martial arts career going on, how's that going? And he's like, oh, it's okay, but I'm still busy being green, white, red ranger.
And black.
And black ranger.
It's like, you know you audition for roles, right? You know there's a process, right? Like, you don't have to ask your fans to do the work your publicist or your agent could do for you. Hey, here's somebody who wants to be a part, let them submit. And if you don't get it, hey, them's the breaks.
And hey, like, I'm not gonna sit here and say I didn't think that Tommy Oliver was a friggin' cool character.
No,
right?
Yeah, obviously he was the Fonz of the first season. You know, he was the breakout character. The problem with it is there's a question of professionalism. Two, there's a question of whether or not a Tommy will be in the script. More than likely he will be. But then three, like, understand there's a time and a place for certain things. And there are certain channels you go through. Was this necessary?
Nope.
Nope.
I'm sorry, I'm not even gonna let you continue that thought.
No,
nope.
Because you think about, you know, where's everybody else right now? The original cast, where are they?
David Yost, unfortunately, isn't with us anymore.
You know, unfortunately not. Three Trang lost her life in a car accident, so she is obviously out of the picture. But you look at everybody else. Austin St. John became a paramedic. Amy Jo Johnson still acts. Walter Jones is still doing convention appearances.
I think
David
he
Yost
dances, right?
I think he still does.
Yeah.
David Yost started doing convention appearances.
Yeah, but he doesn't want to really be involved in Power Rangers.
Yeah, not too much. I mean, and understandably so, given all of the drama they put him through in the original run. But more or less, you think about it, everybody else moved on, did other things.
Yeah,
they'll admit, yeah, I was a Power Ranger.
Even in Sentai or another, like, you know, Japanese children's tokusatsu shows, like, tokusatsu's your launching point for your acting career, and then you move on, and then sometimes you come back and acknowledge, yeah, I did this thing once. And that's it. But Jason David Frank's whole life is, you remember that one time I was Tommy Oliver? Yep, you're still busy being Tommy Oliver, I guess.
Like his reality show, My Morphin Life, like I can't help but not see that whole thing. I forget who said it. When you get to a point where you have to do a reality show, that should always be viewed by other people as a cry for help. But really, it seems more like a cry for attention. And he had been talking with fans for years, like, yeah, I've been pushing with studios and things like that. I want a PG-13 solo Green Ranger movie. Like, one, that tells me you're looking out for you. You're not looking out for the brand. And then two, do you realize what kind of a show you were on? Like, you do realize how it worked, right? You fought guys in rubber suits for a few minutes, and then you moved on because you were a teenager at the time. Now, you're an older man, like... Stop.
You've got a dojo. Go teach some kids how to fight.
Now, the thing
we're way at the end of time.
Yeah, I guess we got to cut it short. But basically, I'm worried as hell for this project. The child in me wants to be happy, but the adult in me knows, get ready, crap might be coming. I'll just phrase it there.
Brace your anus. Okay.
I don't like the sound of that.
I'm sorry. We do need to wrap it up. We are right at the end of our hour. That having been said, I'm glad you guys have come to hang out with us. We always do our stingers for our Twitter pages. I want to let you guys know I renamed my Twitter page back to what it should have always been to begin with. It is no longer Mars Girl Prod. It is just plain Mars Girl. So that should be a lot easier for you guys. So I'm sorry if you have to remember after 3 seasons. That's what's going on. You guys here in the chat room, hang out with us for an additional half hour, and we'll be chatting it up with you guys.
Yeah, you can still follow me at Josh Knight First. That hasn't changed.
And I'm, again, at Mars Girl Prod. No, I'm not.
Mars Girl. You gotta get out. See, now you gotta learn something new. You gotta learn something new now.
I'm just Mars Girl. That's right. Okay.
And this has been Beyond the Black Rims. We'll see you guys next week.
Bye, guys.